We'd like to welcome Justin Rose to the interview room here at the Sony Open in Hawaii. Justin, you're making your first start since 2017, 4 top 20 finishes in your 5 appearances here. Just chat, including the runner-up in 2017, just chat about what it's like to be back.
Yeah, really good to be back. I mean, I've always enjoyed this golf course. I kind of feel like it offers, even though the scoring's low here, it offers a good test, especially early in the season. Depending, all these golf courses are very weather dependent, but if you get a good sort of strong breeze, there's typically a lot of crosswinds, you have to keep the ball in play. So yeah, I've always felt like it's been a good benchmark early in the season, but also if your game's sharp, it offers you a good opportunity to get out there and get on the leaderboard and feel like this is the kind of golf course I feel that fits my game when I'm playing well.
Awesome. And speaking of low scores, you shot a course record tying 61 at the Century last week. Just talk about your form heading into this week.
Yeah, I mean, Kapalua is obviously just a very unique golf course from that point of view. It's a course where you have to go low, but it doesn't always appear to be that easy or feel that easy. Greens are tough to read. Tons of slope out there, obviously, and yet people continue to go low. So, I mean, obviously, for me, the week hadn't gone particularly to plan at all. So it was nice to sort of finish low on Sunday and get something special going. And it was the kind of round where I knew something good was happening. And what I really enjoyed about it is I kind of stayed out my own way that day. Sometimes, you go really low, you think about going really low. Whereas I think on Sunday I managed just to kind of keep flowing with it and stay loose, and which I guess is byproduct of being 40th in the tournament. That kind of helps you stay loose. But the 3-ball that I was in was unbelievable as well. We were 30 under par between 3 of us. That must be a record, tour record, I'd imagine. 12, 10, and 8 was our group. So. Yeah, it was a cool day. First time I played actually with Ludwig as well, so that was nice. I think I can bring a little bit of that. My form feels good. I've been working hard. I haven't had much of an off season. I played quite late into December, playing Hero and Grant Thornton. So that was by design. I kind of felt like game's getting to where I want it, and didn't want to lay off for too long.
Awesome. And with that, we'll open up to questions. We'll start with Kevin Price with PGAtour.com.
Justin, when you have a round like that, the 61 in the final round at Century, and even though the tournament-wise you're not in contention, but do you start feeling some sort of nerves like, oh, could I shoot 59? Oh, this is going to be a round. Does that kick in, or is it still, since you're so far back, you can stay in that free will type of mentality?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of personal pride that sort of comes into it at that point. There were a couple of little challenges towards the end of the round. My ball slipped off the side of the 6th green. Had to make a good up and down. 7, I mishit my tee shot. Ended up making a bit of a tough deal of the hole there. But, up and down it from about 40 yards. You kind of know that a bogey really sets you back on that golf course. So just more like staying with it. And like I said, sort of personal pride for not making that cheap bogey that kind of comes in and halts the momentum of what is a really good day. And then I stepped up and hit a really good 6-iron into the 8th hole, and then 2 really good woods onto the middle of the 9th hole. So yeah, some kind of good swings to finish the round after what had been a really good day. So yeah, I took a little bit of pride in the way I was able to close out the round for sure. I guess disappointed to leave the putt short. I mean, it was like a 40-footer, but never shot 13 under in my life before. So yeah, that would have been a record for me. But yeah, left it short. Hey.
60 in Palm Springs once that age. No, Florida.
Yeah, Palm Course, 12 under that. Yeah. I know that is a long time ago. I've had a few low ones. I think last season, 61 at. I've been able to. Last couple seasons, when I have got going low, I've actually been able to shoot some pretty low numbers. So.
And then this is the first start for a lot of the rookies out here, kind of, and kind of along those lines, thinking back to your rookie season. What kind of, for a rookie, goes through your head, kind of in your first couple starts as you're transitioning to this level of the game?
I mean, I can't remember. That's a long time ago. No one wants my rookie season. Yeah, you're just trying to make your first cut and get that monkey off the back. No, I think obviously there's tons of excitement, right? And I think this is sort of a really unique way to start the year. You're all the way out in Hawaii, which feels very different. It's kind of these two events have their own personality. So I just think it's kind of a great way to sort of ease your way into it. Although the travel's not overly easy, but the field's quite strong this week. I think there's quite a few guys that haven't got into the tournament that would have expected to have got into the tournament and been able to get their season up and running. So I think the season's become more cutthroat this year, given the elevated events, and given the fact that some guys are not able to get into as many events as they maybe once were, etc. So I do feel like there's a big emphasis on getting off to a good start. That always helps. So I think that as laid back and as easygoing as it feels like Hawaii is, I think there's no time to lose for whether it be a rookie or anybody else in the field. I think I think everyone's probably pretty keen to get off to a good start, and with that comes some anticipation, and with that probably comes a little bit of nerves, getting the season up and running.
Robert McIntyre, he's obviously Ryder Cup. You guys had a great connection there, and he's making his first PGA Tour start as a member this week. What's have you stayed in touch with him at all since that, and what do you look back on from that week?
Yeah, it's good to see. There's a ton of new faces out here this week, including some lads from the European Tour. So it's quite strange seeing some of the stalwart European Tour players here. Obviously given the structure that we have between the two tours now and the 10 cards that were up for grabs. So it's cool to see those guys out here. Obviously, I saw Bob the other day, and we've stayed in sort of I wouldn't say close contact, but obviously dropping each other a text over Christmas, New Year, Happy New Year, all that type of stuff. And we'll no doubt catch up this week. I think we're both staying sort of downtown Honolulu, so grab a bit of dinner. But that was a special week for both of us, obviously in the Ryder Cup. And anytime you pair up with anybody and earn a point, you kind of have a mate for life, right? You kind of go into something, go into this cauldron of intensity, and if you're able to survive it, I think it definitely brings you closer.
We'll go to Doug Ferguson next.
Two things, Justin. Based on your play last year, you're on Maui and you're in all the signature events. What kind of advantage do you think you and players in that group have over the lads who are not playing for enhanced FedEx Cup points, etc.?
Listen, you certainly have an advantage just in terms of the stature of the event and the quality of fields that you're able to play against. Now, is that easier? Is the catch-22? And I think this is obviously what we're all exactly trying to figure out, how you give everybody that perfectly fair sort of ebb and flow in terms of stronger fields equals more points, which I think they absolutely should have, because quite clearly a 10th in a strong event is better than a 10th in a weak field event. So how you distribute those points is obviously been a topic of discussion. So I think it was going to take half a year, which is too long to figure out if it's right or wrong, or how close we've gotten to it. But absolutely, I think that you have the ability to play for elevated points, and I think if your game is, if you're playing well enough to compete in those events, absolutely is the way forward, and that's what we're all striving for out here on tour, is to be in these big events so we can have that opportunity to amass as many points as possible.
There's probably a lot to figure out this year, I would think. I mean, we talk about the number of guys who didn't get in who normally would.
Yeah, there's different dynamics at play for sure, and I think it's very hard to get everything right on year one. I mean, you look at the FedEx Cup, it's taken us many, many little iterations to find out if it's perfect or what needs tweaking. So I'm sure this is a similar type of situation, but frustrating for a lot of guys, because there will always be one or two guys that it makes a significant difference to their career and livelihood. So it's important stuff to get right, but and it's obviously, we don't make, when I say we, the powers that be don't make these decisions lightly. It is done with the best of intentions to try to make it correct across the whole tour membership, but hard to keep 200 guys happy for sure.
Last thing for me, you had a bit of a downturn, as happens in this game, right around Olympic time last time. You ended up missing out.
Mm-hmm.
On your mind at all this year? I think you're probably, I don't know where you're, around 40, 35?
In the world, yeah.
Tommy Tyrrell and
yeah.
who's else up there?
Matt Fitzpatrick, yeah.
It's a nice group of UK guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough team to make. Obviously, we all know Team USA is a really, really difficult team to make, but the way I'm trying to look at it is that I've got to try and play my way into the top 15 in the world rankings. I think a team can still field up to 4 players inside that top 15. So I don't see Fitz, Tyrrell, or Tommy necessarily going backwards this year. So, for me, it's up to me to play my way into that top 15. That's a massive goal for sure. Tokyo was a tough one, because when we should have played in 2020, I was actually in the team, and then obviously by 2021, by the time we actually were able to play, I'd slipped out. So yeah, it was listen, the Olympics has been something special for me. Quite clearly, I walked around for 4 or 5 years with that tagline, and the fans identify a lot with that with me. So to have an opportunity to go back would be unbelievable. Paris is a golf course I love and know, and yeah, I feel like I can still challenge, obviously, for another one. So, but you got to be in it to win it, So yeah, first and foremost, a lot of hard work for me to be able to make the team.
What's the difference in the people you run across in daily walks of life who see you and recognize you from how many from Marion, how many from Rio?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think what I did notice about the US Open was, you win one, and obviously you're forever a major champion, you're forever a US Open champion, and obviously the golf fan remembers that. But, in 3 weeks' time, there's an Open champion, so it's quickly forgotten, like you're on to the next champion, whereas the Olympics did resonate for a long, long time. I think my playing partners probably didn't enjoy 4 years of on the first tee Olympic champion Justin Rose. I was like, okay, give it a rest. And I didn't ask for it, but I even by the end of it, I was tired of it, to be honest with you. But I shouldn't have been. But that's the biggest thing about the Olympics for me, is that I was surprised how much it resonated with the golf fan, because quite clearly back in 2016, some of the top players didn't really get on board with the meaning, how meaningful of an achievement it is. And I think if the fan begins to identify with it, then it becomes important to the players as well. And obviously now we're a couple of editions in, there's a bit of history there. Obviously Xander's, a great winner as well. And obviously we have a couple of great venues, I think, Paris and, LA, Riviera especially. So, it really should go from strength to strength. And obviously that's what I hope for it, that it does become, something that's sought after in our game.
Time for a couple more. We go to Suzanne Kemper.
First of all, congratulations on your 2023 champion player from Britain and Ireland. You got the PGA award.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was not. Yeah. Thank you.
Following up on the Olympics, how do you think that you like the course, the Golf National in Paris? You think it's a good course for this?
I do. I think it's a good championship golf course. It creates a lot of drama. There's some really difficult finishing holes there. There's a nice sort of little kind of amphitheater feeling at the end. I think that it's a challenging golf course. I feel like it's the type of golf course that suits all types of player. It's not one of these wide open 7,800 yard courses where some players are going to think this is not really in my wheelhouse. There's a huge advantage to a certain type of player. So, that's what I think the tour have a good set up on in terms of the biggest events. The Players Championship and, East Lake for the FedEx Cup are on layouts that I feel suit the majority of the field. There's not like one outstanding or outlying player that should particularly do well. So, and I think Golf National in Paris fits that model as well, of being able to suit all different types of games. So, that's important that big championships are played on golf courses that are sympathetic, I think, to everybody in some sense.
How do you feel it fits your game?
Yeah, well, I think it's a strategic golf course. It's not driver all the way. There's a lot of nuance off the tee. It's relatively tight, depending on the setup with rough and things like that. And and you have to hit some clutch shots down the stretch. There's a bit of water, around the 18th hole. You got to step up and hit 2 great shots. So if you're coming down the 18th with a chance to win a medal, it's a daunting hole to play. So yeah, I think all those elements are there to have a great tournament.
Anything else for Justin? We're good. Appreciate
Cool.
the time, Justin.
Yeah, thanks,
Good luck
guys.
this week.
Cheers. Thank you.